Hi, I'm Robin Simmons. And for my podcast assignment, I got to interview Marcel Rodriguez, a classmate of mine from Miami, Florida. He's currently taking film at Full Sail University. He's a talented young man who, honestly, I think has a bright future ahead of him.
Well, the role of the visual arts in our field is massive because everything has to be able to catch the eye. With the amount of information that we have available to us, everything has to get out there quickly. It has to stand out. It has to catch our eye because usually it only has like 5 or 10 seconds to do so, especially with how fast commercials on TV are nowadays. And it just really has to be something that catches your eye because then that's what allows things to build buzz and get interest and so on and so forth. And what I realize is that something that's unable to do that very quickly usually doesn't last very long, especially during the summer season that we're going through right now, where a lot of movies of significant note are coming out. So the visual bar has to be pretty high to catch somebody's attention and spend their money, especially with how things are now. That you're interested in. And I'm also very, very interested in the fact that you could find so much stuff by simply searching a keyword when you get home and you're looking on your laptop or your computer and whatnot. And that type of access allows things to really build steam. Like I said before, it can get a word of mouth campaign started before money gets invested into a marketing campaign for a film or for music or whatever it happens to be. Also, remember this, the download market tends to be pretty popular too, especially as things are going more towards streaming. So having the ability to get a hold of things almost instantly is a massive positive. I really don't see any negatives to it at all. I can't name any. Like I would have to really look for it in order to find a negative. Well, the popular images that I see frequently are usually negative stereotypes. Okay, just stereotypes, period. But that's generally what I come across and get seen, shown to me over and over again. For example, when I was a kid, every time I would see an Asian person, I automatically thought they know Kung Fu. And I realized that it wasn't because I was an idiot. It was because of the fact that Hollywood basically makes you think that every Asian person does, in fact, know Kung Fu and karate chop and how to do split kicks and all that other stuff. And it's really demoralizing when you think of that because it also depicts most Latin people as not being able to speak English and dealing drugs of some sort, or that all black people can't be anything more than athletes and rappers and love orange soda or something. And the funny thing is that usually when it comes to the Caucasians, they generally tend to be the hero of the film. It doesn't matter what it is. They're the hero of it. That's just, you can automatically point out the guy who's going to be the main character, is going to live through the whole thing and get the girl at the end. So I think with that having been said, that's what I see getting shown over and over again, and it hasn't really changed since I was a kid. Well, this kind of pertains to the question you asked me before, with imagery that the industry has popularized. Like I said, ethnic stereotypes are one that is really created and popularized, cashed in on, whatever you want to call it. That's one. And then we also have the action movie genre of, the hero walking away from an exploding building and not flinching, as I mentioned that in another interview as well. And that's another image that I think Hollywood's really created. Or how you have the overly self-righteous primary character and the really evil villain that just seemingly is so terrible that you want him to die a horrible death. And those images are essentially what gets created and gets used over and over again and can create cliches that people tend to grow tired of and can actually take away from a film no matter how good it is. I don't really have anybody that I would have to say is a favorite in terms of visual artists, but I do have a favorite style, and that's neoclassicism. Just looking at it, I wouldn't say that I base whatever it is that I do off of that, but in my mind, I always like things to have a high degree of creativity with a layer of realism, so that way it feels like it's in our world. And I literally found something that looks like what I see in my mind, and that art style is what I see in my mind, and I think that's great. To have something that can be highly creative and yet have that layer of realism that can ingrain it in our world, I think really makes it endeared to us that much more. And I think that's why I like it as much. One great example of that is the Batman franchise by Christopher Nolan. also The Prestige, also by Nolan, has that layer of realism, even though the film and the concept is completely bat-crap crazy. It hasn't really changed my process at all. I mean, it's great that there's famous artworks out there, but I don't base anything I do off of it. Everything I do is done in a way that doesn't satisfy me. And then I take the layer of realism that I like to apply to things and I put it over that. And it becomes sort of a two-pronged process. Like, I've never said to myself, oh, there's a Sistine Chapel. I can't do my sci-fi idea about whatever it is that I've got going on. Like, it just never has happened to me. I guess you could say I built from the top down as opposed from the other way. But I don't really see that as a problem at all, really.